to perceive through all illusion the ultimate truth that there is really no separation between you and God. And so the world that we live in is a world of extreme illusion. And the world is designed to test your faith. And the world is designed to convince you that there is no such thing as God consciousness, and that you and God are so far apart that if you spent your whole life trying to reach supreme consciousness, the divine foundation of all existence, it would be a waste of time. And so God consciousness is being able to look through the lies, look through the deception, look through the false indoctrination, look through the illusion of the world to see that there is no separation between you and supreme consciousness. I always say that you will know when Black people have achieved God consciousness because they would be free of white supremacy. They would be free of white oppression. They would no longer fear. Fear is a very, very powerful emotion. It's normally reserved only for parents and for the creator. But Black people have a third source of fear, and that's white supremacy and white people itself. And so to truly achieve God consciousness, you would have to throw off the yoke of fear that you have for whites. And when you throw off that yoke of fear that you have for whites, and I would also add adoration, because closely associated with the concept of fear is the concept of adoration. We adore white people almost to the point of worship because we see them as superior. So to achieve God consciousness, which is to mean you remove all illusions of thought and emotion from your mind, would automatically mean that you no longer see the white man as superior. It automatically would mean that you no longer see the white woman as superior. It automatically would mean that you no longer see white culture as superior. And it would dictate that you create your own reality. There is no God consciousness that is separate from the creation of a new reality, because at the basic level, the creator creates. So if we are manifestations of the creator in human flesh, then we also have the obligation to create a new reality. So as long as we are being the creatures of oppression, as long as we allow ourselves to exist as the victims of someone else's agenda, there's no God consciousness there. Because when you really achieve God consciousness, you would rather die than live as a second-class citizen on this planet. It becomes incompatible to a man or woman with God consciousness. There's no option. You look at like Prophet Nat Turner, who was a preacher himself. Nat Turner evolved his spirituality to a point where he only had one or two choices. It was freedom or it was death. When I look at Gabriel Prosser, the leader of the Richmond, Virginia slave insurrection, his flag said death or liberty. When I look at Queen Mother Harriet Tubman, she said, I figured it out in my mind that I had a right to one of two things, freedom or death. And if I couldn't have one, I could surely have the other. That's God consciousness. When you're ready to die for your freedom. Dr. King, Malcolm X, I believe they achieved God consciousness. That speech that Dr. King gave on April the 3rd, 1968, the night prior to the assassination, I believe in that moment, he achieved enlightenment. He achieved God consciousness. There is no, you cannot have God consciousness coexisting with second-class citizenship, coexisting with fear, coexisting with mediocrity or insecurity or a lack of confidence in yourself. When Jesus spoke of the temple of God is within, we really have to tap into that, because one of the things that slavery did to us, slavery transformed and removed our spiritual locus of control from inside of us to outside of us.
Mm-hmm.
So salvation does not take place inside. So when you go to church, many churches, not all, have you looking for God elsewhere, looking for salvation elsewhere. Everything that you need is within. But it's hard for us to understand that, especially when you've been brought up on a religious culture that has an external locus of control. Black people have to put that internal locus of control back inside of ourselves. Why do people drink alcohol? Why do they smoke cigarettes? Why do they eat so much? Because they believe they need something outside of them to solve their issue. And our job is to get them to understand nothing you need for spiritual salvation can be found outside. Everything's inside. Your problem originated inside of you, and the solution for your problem is going to originate inside of you.
And that's the concept that, you know, I've been working on, which is this concept of spiritual responsibility. The idea that we are responsible for all the things in the universe. I mean, when I say that, I don't mean us as people, as individuals, as persons. I mean that which is common to the one who is Dr. Umar Johnson and the one who is Dr. Shawn Smith. That consciousness, supreme consciousness, is responsible for all things, and we are to step into that and identify as that, and so take responsibility for our reality. This concept of spiritual responsibility puts the locus of control back in ourselves. There is no person on the outside. All the perpetrators disappear. If somebody is afraid of dying, if you are in God consciousness, then dying is, well, we've done that before so many times.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because under God consciousness, the illusion of death is destroyed. There is no death. Everything gets recycled. Everything.
You notice that with the universe. This is not a universe where things disappear forever. If something breaks down, thermodynamically, we understand that, well, it's only changed form. It doesn't matter what you're talking, because you can set something on fire. We can set these laptops on fire, and the exact amount of matter that constitutes these laptops is going to continue to exist in the smoke, in the ash, in the...
Absolutely. Energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. Because that's our purpose for being here, to reconnect oneself with God. Or should I say, to realize that you've never been disconnected from God in the first place.
Hey, it's Dr. Shawn Smith. And if that message on God consciousness between me and Dr. Umar Johnson resonated with you, then be sure to watch this video and go even deeper on consciousness. I know it will serve you.